Well, hi there, guys, and welcome back to Bobingen once again, and we'll see what we can do today. We got two more games for you today, and then I think probably three tomorrow. So I'll show you here what's going on with the schedule. We have 5 games left in the season, so we'll do 2 today, and then I think we'll try to knock out all 3 tomorrow. If you are new here, it's okay. We're just going to keep on rolling along. We're in 7th place now after that big victory over Sonthofen 2. We're playing against Wigensbach today. Where is Wigensbach? They're in 10th place, so hopefully this will be a win. And then in the second match, since I just do these in order, we'll be against Halmstetten. Halmstetten are up above us. If we could get 2 wins today somehow, that would put us up a little bit higher, but I still think the second place is probably out of reach. As you can see, we've done actually quite a good job in coming back from being dead last and getting ourselves up into the top half of the table. Now, I mentioned this a little bit last time, so we'll look at this. This is what our young players look like. This includes a lot of players who came in from our youth intake. Just about everybody here actually is from youth intake, 15 and younger. We have a bunch of these guys who are 14 years old. That's pretty young, so don't ask me what's going on with that. Like, as I've said before, I really kind of want to turn this into sort of like a youth academy type thing, but we've had to go out and we've had to pick up a couple of players from other places just because, like, these players are too young. Like, theoretically, we could probably have some of these players play on the first team, except what we need are midfielders. So Dominic Bernhard is not going to help us very much because he's definitely not a midfielder like up here in the midfield. He ends up being on the right side, and he's also not a particularly good player. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just that, like, there's not a whole lot of great quality here. It's these players down below that are a little bit better. In fact, we could stick in, let's see here. Current ability, you can see that we do have a couple of players who might have at least a little bit of that, but there's not a whole bunch. So anyway, that gives you sort of an idea of what's going on. We do have, of course, some players with really good current ability that could help us out a lot, but unfortunately, they are ineligible to be registered because they're too young. And then, unfortunately, this guy cannot be registered. I think he was also too young. That was the problem with him. I couldn't register him at all when I even went to try. So we have a little bit of work here to do with this team. I'm probably going to spend a little bit more time spending money I don't have trying to get more midfielders. As you can see, we don't have any money at all, but we still have some money in the bank, so it doesn't really bother me that much. They're not going to give me much money next season anyway, so that's just sort of the way it's going to be. Whatever. We go to the next match. That's what we do. We do the best that we can. This referee's given out 9 red cards already this season, so hopefully we won't be recipients of another red card, but we're pretty good at doing that. So Apostolo will go back in. Berghold is really not much of a player, but he'll be in there in case there's an injury. Eckel's even worse. There are quite a few players we probably need to get rid of. Flaig, for example, not really much of a player. This guy was one of these players we signed on a free transfer. He's not that great. We just don't have anyone else to play the position. Rausch is actually a good player. He's another one. We got him from Hiltrup. I don't remember when it was that I decided to get him, but anyway. Michael is also not a player with much ability, but he's played well. The reason why he's played well is, as you can see right here, he's got good acceleration and good pace, right? 12 at this level is actually pretty good, so that's kind of what we're looking for. Anyway, we'll just go for it. Just so you know as well, I haven't shown you this yet. I'll show you this probably in a second. We don't have any scouts on this team because the way that we do this is we do it the Youth Academy Challenge way. That's the overall ultimate focus of the save, instead of going out and just getting who we want through transfers and stuff like that. Now, I don't know any of the tricks with training in this game. This is the old training system, so if you know them, let me know. I think that most people don't quite know. Of course, what you want to do in training as much as possible is just increase pace and acceleration for all players because it's Football Manager, and in Football Manager, speed is the most important thing. So, yeah, we have had nothing happen so far in this match. And we'll see how it's going. So I have a long-form scripted video coming out on this channel tomorrow. I hope that you'll enjoy it. Hopefully people will actually watch it. A lot of the recent videos on this channel have not had much by the way of views, but I'm going to try to turn that around. Weiler with the hair, speaking of turning it around. Weiler is foul. Boy, this is turning into an ugly match. Is Marco going to be sent off? That would be great if that would happen. But it looks like he's not. Already got a yellow card. And yep, there he goes again. Second yellow card within 10 minutes. So Marco is sent off. I was about to say this ref. I think I did say it. This ref has had 9 red cards so far this season. So let's take a look and let's see if this actually warranted the second yellow card. That might not be great for us, actually, because we are not very good at avoiding getting cards. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of blatant, I think. I don't know. You can tell me what you think about that. That looked like, though, it looked somewhat deliberate. It wasn't a particularly good defensive play. I think the ref is just a little bit annoyed with that, and so he's just gone ahead and sent him off. No questions asked. And of course, we see that in slow motion, which is what we always want to see. Mikhail over to Pacarada, who scores. I think it's his first goal for us, isn't it? Yep. And so 1-0, we have the lead, and there are some questions of offside there. I thought he was offside, but my opinion doesn't count, and I keep my opinions to myself. Yeah, he thinks suspicions of offside. He was about, you know, as far offside as you could get. He's on the other side of the runway. So 1-0 it is to Bobingen, and we will go ahead and take that. Thank you very much. And we just have to hope that everybody above us loses, and then we can move up a little bit, right? Well, we'll still be in 7th, but we'll be a little bit closer to the teams that are a little bit further up. And what was that? I'm not quite sure what that was. That was a mistimed cross that turned into a ball hitting the crossbar. So not sure what we were trying to do there, but whatever it was, it didn't work out right because there was no goal on the other end of it. So we're about 25 minutes into this match now with a 1-0 lead, and it's Özkul winning this off of his man over to Weiler. Weiler is fast, and Pacarada ends up scoring. So Kutsu, once again, not here on this squad as we're trying to give a little bit of a chance for these other guys. Pacarada is much better than Kutsu, I tell you. So he's got 2 goals now, and we're starting to do really well. So 2-0 for Bobingen. And I've got a feeling that we're going to end up doing fairly well next season, this, provided that we can hold on to a lot of these players, which I think we will be able to. Remember, we do have a couple of young players who are going to be able to actually play for us next season, which is a good thing. That should help us turn this around a little bit. It's amazing to believe that this team was originally like in dead last place. Weiler again to Pacarada, who's looking for his hat trick. And he just misses it, man, just hits the post. He's going to have a hat trick in the 34th minute. How you like that? Anyway, we're still up 2-0. But he just barely missed this shot. So it was Mikhail taking it off of the attacking player. Brouwer to Weiler, and it's almost like there's nobody there. Pacarada just sort of walks it up, takes a shot, and just barely misses that. Of course, the thing is that if he had shot that more on target, the keeper would have gotten to it. So it's not like he would have scored anyway. Brouwer here with it again after that unsuccessful free kick to Rausch. Rausch to Mikhail. Mikhail takes a shot instead of trying to work it forward. It's all right. He was kind of close enough, but he's not quite good enough to take that shot. That's the problem. So it remains 2-0 for us. Brouwer here with it, and it's hit straight off the wall. So Brouwer will go back and get it. And he looks forward, surveys the field. Can't really see anyone. There it is to Vergos, and nothing happened. Brouwer here with the free kick, and it's going to end up with Saber, who ends up shooting. It was, who was that? Özkul, I think it was, who ended up heading it to him. Let's take another look at this. Yeah, so it goes up. Özkul, he does. He gets his forehead onto it, and Saber is right behind the defense. And it's 3-0 for Bobingen. So we are rolling once again. And, you know, I hate to say it, but putting Kutsu on the bench looks like it was actually a pretty good idea. Pacarada, I'm kind of worried about his sharpness. He's not very good at that, but we want him to get his hat trick. It may be that once he has his hat trick, we take him off or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. I'll try not to spoil the magic, though. That's what we don't want to do. So we look really good so far in this home match in front of our crowd of 33. And there are 33 very excited people. That's what I have to say. Now, the day will come when we have more than 33 people at a match, I hope. But you never know. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. Maybe we're going to be stuck with this forever. Mikhail passes it to Casper the Friendly Ghost. It's Rausch with it over to Apostolo. Pacarada back to Apostolo. Flaig to Brouwer. We're looking for Pacarada again. And it's going to be Brouwer this time taking the shot and scoring a goal. So he figures he'll do it himself. 4-0 Bobingen. That is Brouwer with his 6th goal of the season. And yeah, that's pretty simple. Pretty easy. As I was saying yesterday, like in this league, you have teams that are really bad. And then you have some teams that are, you know, relatively speaking, really good. You don't have a whole lot of teams in between. And so we're getting a lot of these games where we just totally dominate. And other games where we look really bad. Weiler with a shot, and that is saved. Uzkul keeps it in, Raus to Brouwer, and Brouwer has a shot saved as well. Hecking doing a heck of a job. So it's still 4-0. We're only about 50 minutes into this match. This might end up taking us a little while to play through. Salbert just cannot get his head onto it. Vergos is wide open in the back. Nobody even close to him. He finds Apostolo, and he goes to Salbert. Salbert, looking forward, can't find anybody. He has it taken off of him, wins it back, and has it taken off of him, and they're going to charge Dreyer with the foul. So we have another attempt at a free kick from a close range, but anyway, we end up not seeing it because nothing happened. Here is Flaig with it over to Michael. Michael over to Uzkul. Up to Vergos. Michael. And he plays it really, really poorly. And it's going to be Rocati, and Rocati's going to score easily. And so that was a really, really poor play there by Michael. And Foucault looked like he had no idea what he was going to do. He was sort of stuck in no man's land, and so he went forward. It's the only thing he could do with it. You can see it again right here. You see he's in the wrong place. He's trying to go forward to greet the ball, and it allows Rocati to basically have a free shot on goal. And so that means it's 4-1, and it's going to be one of those kind of matches, I'll tell you what. Bauer with a free kick, and that forces a good save by Hecking, and he's starting to get those down. I've told you this whole time, if he works a little bit on it, I think he can do a little bit better. And here's the corner. It's Uzkul trying to head this, and he just misses the goal. So 4-1, we have the lead. We'll likely get the 3 points here. Puts us over at 39 points so far for the season with 4 matches remaining. So in theory, we could get up to maybe the 50s. It's still not going to be even close to Dinkelschauben. So I doubt we'll be able to be in that playoff spot in second position, right? But we might be able to sneak into something like a 3rd, 4th place if we're lucky. Or we might end up sort of staying put and slipping down to 8th position if we are unlucky. We'll see what happens. My guess is that it will probably be something like 4th or 5th place by the time all is said and done. But, you know, we'll see what happens. You never know what's going to happen. And we are playing some of the teams that are in front of us. So we'll see if we can get up on that ladder. Uzkul wins this over to Brouwer, but Andre takes hold of it. And so, unfortunately, we have to deal with Wigensbach a little bit more. It's Pacarada who ends up winning this before it goes out of bounds. Over to Vergos, and now we'll run forward. Flaig to Weiler, and Pacarada is coming from the top side. Weiler looks down, and he finds Apostolo. Apostolo with it. This tactic not particularly wide. Apostolo needs to look backwards, and instead he finds Pacarada, and there's an attempt, barely, at trying to get the hat trick. That wasn't a very good attempt. That was kind of a poor header, and so it hasn't happened. Pacarada, if he scores one more, I will take him off, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to or not. Deutschmann ends up clearing this, and that'll be the end of that. I'm surprised that we're still seeing this highlight, and then it goes away finally. So much for that. We do have a whole bunch of numbers, though, in the goals and assists column, which is kind of what we want to see. We'll see if our man gets his hat trick or not. If he doesn't, it'll be okay. We'll just go out and we'll win the next match and try to move up that table a little bit. So we'll be probably at 39 points at the end of this, which is good enough. 39 points after 26 games, which is all right. Foucault with a good save. So we're doing okay. We're definitely not going to be in that relegation position. I don't think teams are relegated from here, though. I think this is about as low down as you can get. I can't remember. We can go look at the rules again. Now, the problem is I don't think that we get some sort of special payment for finishing a certain position in the league. I think there's basically no money here. So anyway, there you have it. I love looking at that countryside scenery, by the way, and those houses there. Wouldn't you like to live there and sort of watch this match? I'm sure nobody really cares if you're living in that house about the 7th tier team, but if you're watching this, you absolutely do care because you know that this is where the legend is born, and we're not going to be able to get a shot away. That is the end of this match. Bobingen with the 4-1 victory, und wir machen es weiter, ja? So this is the way that it is. No substitutions today, none needed. We didn't get the hat trick, unfortunately, but it doesn't really matter. Brouwer probably ends up being, Pacarada ends up being the player of the match with the 8.8 rating, but Brouwer, absolutely the key player. He's the one who made the offense work. And that's the way that it is, so I'll come back to you in a second. All right, guys, well, welcome back. Actually, didn't really go anywhere, so just so you know, we're going to the second match today. We'll have 3 matches in tomorrow's video as well to get ourselves caught up. And as usual, I do want to tell you that if you enjoy watching this on this channel, consider becoming a channel member or consider going over to Patreon, supporting me there, because any sort of help you can get makes it possible so that I can continue to do these types of videos and we can continue to dive into the world of Football Manager, play a whole bunch of games nobody else is playing, and also look at all the problems that are happening with Football Manager today. But we won't talk too much about that right now. Today, of course, as you know, is the day that they have the next update for FM 26. But we're not going to look at that, at least not right now. It might be fun in the future, though, to sort of take a look at that and see what actually has been fixed and what hasn't, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit skeptical. So anyway, let's take a look and see how we're doing here. The question is, do we still want to have Weiler up there? Do we want to give Kutsu another chance? I think Weiler's a little bit faster, so maybe we should have him. And then we are going to have to make, I think, a couple of pretty difficult decisions here pretty soon once we get to the off season, because as you know, we're spending way too much money on players. The nice thing is that nobody has a contract, so we can just get rid of people however we want, except, of course, for these. No, I'm sorry, this is the appearance fee. So yeah, they actually don't have a contract either. So we'll go ahead and we'll just submit the same team out there and sort of see what happens. See if we have good luck or not. As I showed you before, this team we're up against, Hounstetten, which is not far from Bobingen. Hounstetten is in 5th place and we are in 7th. The media thinks that we should win this match pretty easily, so we'll see if we do have that kind of luck or not. Apostolo ends up winning this from behind, and he looks forward for Weiler, and there's a good pass. Weiler with that speed, look at him get past the defense, and he just misses the shot. So, I don't know, a little bit better finishing or something like that, and we would have made it happen. And here comes that 3D replay. I don't know about you guys. I still prefer watching the match itself in 2D. I think it's easier to see what's happening. 3D is okay, but 3D feels a lot more repetitive to me. That's not just in FM17. That's also true of FM26, FM24, and so on. Flaig with it just knocks it forward very, very softly to Brouwer. And there's the pass over to Weiler, but Weiler was offside. Weiler went a little bit too early there. We'll take another look at this. We'll see if that line comes up to tell us that he was offside. That was Flaig with it. And yeah, I mean, we had a number of guys. Look at how far offside he was. We had probably 2 guys offside. And so it doesn't quite work out the way that we would like. But we are on an offensive tear. Uzkul within the back looks forward for Pakarada, but this is way too far forward. And unfortunately, that doesn't work, but it's a really, really good thought. So we'll see if we can turn around and get that to work again. Ruha ends up holding onto this ball for a little bit longer than we would like. Brouwer pulls it down over to Weiler. Man, their defense is really having problems with this. Weiler takes this shot. He probably should have passed, but it's okay. We're not going to worry about that too much. It was a good idea, at least. So take another look at this, and you can see sort of what was happening. We win this in midfield. There's no midfielder playing Brouwer, and he just knocks it forward for Weiler, who's already behind the defense. So this is one of those reasons why you want to have, in Football Manager, at least you want to have defenders who at least have some sort of speed. If you have a whole bunch of like slowpokes, then stuff like that's going to happen to you. Lovens to Stosia, and see if we can prevent them from getting the cross in, and it's Uzkul there to head it away. Brouwer finds Weiler, and here we go again. It's like watching the Lakers from the mid-'80s if you watch basketball. Mikhail with it over to Apostolo. Apostolo over to Brouwer, and how did he miss that? That was the easiest shot that I've ever seen, and he has managed to screw it up. So look at this again. Mikhail does a great job over to Apostolo. Their defense doesn't know what to do. Brouwer has it right there with point blank range, and he catches it with the tongue of his shoe. And so that ends up missing everything, and we still have no score. Brouwer will win this in the back, and he moves it forward again. And once again, we have another counterattack, and we look like we're just playing against nobody. Weiler here with it, and he tries a chip shot. Doesn't work, but Flaig is there to knock it in. And it's 1-0 for Bobingen. They're going to say that Fudish put it into his own goal, but I'm pretty sure that Flaig should have been credited here with the goal. Take another look here in 3D. 3D will tell us everything. Flaig was right there, and he just stuck it in off of Fudish's foot. That's really unfair to give as an own goal. That was clearly scored by our player, and that's what it should be. If we emerge victorious here, this would put us up to 6th place, and then we are within striking distance of perhaps 4th if we win the next match. So you will want to tune in tomorrow. We have a lot of very, very important matches. We're probably not going to be promoted, but you never know what's going to happen. This team is playing very well, and I think that we could beat just about anybody we play against. Brouwer here with the corner and can't get it in. Rausch looking for Pacarada, can't get it to him. Mikhail ends up being outrun by the man he's trying to guard, and that's it. So much for that. Not much happening there. Mikhail with us now. Mikhail goes up vertically over to Apostolo. Apostolo to Flaig. Flaig down to Brouwer. Brouwer to Mikhail. Mikhail to Weiler. Does find him. And Apostolo. We're trying not to be offside. We have so many players in attacking positions. It's hard to keep them straight. Flaig to Apostolo. Down to Flaig again. Over to Mikhail. Mikhail, he takes a shot and it hits off of his own teammate. So that didn't work. Vergos now from the bottom. Vergos looking to bring it up. Pacarada is there, but doesn't get to it. And so it's knocked back out. It was cool to go back and grab that. And we'll have to think of another way to get it forward. And that ends that highlight. So 1-0, we have the lead. We are away from home. So it's always good to have the lead when you're on the road. Sonthofen 2 look like they are a cinch for second place. And if they win that, I think that almost completely mathematically eliminates us from being able to get a playoff spot. But it doesn't really matter. Again, we're going for top half this season, and so I think we can hit that. I think we have a pretty good idea of which players are playing well and which players are not playing so well. Speaking of which, Pacarada is not doing so well, so we'll put Kutsu back in. And I think that we'll have Kutsu and Weiler probably switch positions. We'll just sort of see what happens there. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do or not, so we'll find out in a second. Rausch to Mikhail, and we have the ball again, just like that. Over to Kutsu. Kutsu down to Flaig. Flaig has it. Kutsu goes into position, looking out for the ball. There's nobody on him. Vergos over to Brouwer. Brouwer, and he doesn't see what he has in front of him. He was turned the wrong way. Vergos now to Flaig. Flaig down to Weiler. Weiler moves away from his defender over to Apostolo. Forward looking for Flaig, and he didn't do a very good job. If we could get some good midfielders on this team, if we could get some midfielders that are a little bit better than the guys that we have so far, we really could score a lot of goals. That's where the real weak point has been so far. It's been midfield. And we've given up a goal. It's Haas with the goal for Helmstedt, and Michael Haas gets his 3rd goal of the season, and that puts us back down to 7th place. So we didn't want to see that happen. This was off the corner. Haas had 2 men right in front of him and somehow managed to find the net. It was I think it was a good try by our side, but it didn't work out the way we wanted it to. Here is Kutsu now, forward for Weiler, and Weiler must score. And he misses. Agonizingly close for Weiler, who's about to be taken off probably around 60, 65 minutes. So it's not been great. Kutsu did a very good job here. But Weiler gets it forward, and we've seen him now miss a couple of these. He tries for the chip shot. I don't know why he doesn't just blast it into the side or to the side of the goal. So anyway, who knows? Mikhail with the ball now forward for Kutsu, and Kutsu's going to just take this himself, and he scores, and that makes it 2-1 Bobingen. You knew that Kutsu was going to score. Kutsu, for whatever reason, every time he gets the ball in that position, he's going to score. So we'll take another look at this. And here he comes once again. I mean, there's nobody guarding him, right? So all he has to do is just move it up. He can walk it up slowly, and he takes the shot, and he scores. So we're going to make our substitution here now. Weiler's not playing well, so it'll be Schreiber on for him. And I think we're going to have Schreiber and Kutsu switch positions. So we'll do that right here, and let's see what happens. Yep, we're going on, and here they come on in the 62nd minute. So they came on actually before play resumed again. We made that substitution at the right time. Apostolo wins this over to Flaig to Brouwer. Brouwer forward for Kutsu. Here we go again. Kutsu's a little bit more familiar with this side. He's got a couple men on him, and he ends up shooting anyway and almost scores a goal. That would have been his 2nd. That would have been pretty impressive for somebody who didn't start. This puts us up to 6th position again if we win. Kutsu goes back and wins this back down to Rausch. Rausch looking down for Brouwer. Good. Brouwer is taken over by Fudish, who scored that goal earlier. It ends up back with Rausch again. Brouwer to Flaig to Schreiber, who had just come on. And Schreiber, unfortunately, not quite quick enough to do anything with it. I don't know why we're going back this far. This doesn't make much sense to me. So we're going back about like 10 minutes or so to see this replay. I guess it was cool to see Apostolo win it. I think there's a shot up here that is what we want to look at. Yeah, it was Kutsu's shot. Kutsu ran straight forward and just took a shot, sort of a you only live once type thing right there. And wasn't successful this time, but just like everything else in life, you have to keep trying. Even if you're not successful, you just keep going for it and see if maybe you'll have some success next time. It was cool over to Kutsu then to Brouwer, and that's knocked away. Sonthofen, by the way, are currently drawing with Königsbrunn. So we want to see Sonthofen lose if possible. That's the team that we really have our eyes on. If they can remain within reach of us, then we'll be very, very happy. Apostolo called for the foul. Is he going to be carded again? No. So that's good for us. He's not sent off. Otherwise, we are in trouble. I don't know how much time is left in this match, so we keep an eye on that. But we'll see what happens. I think that it's possible for us to move up maybe to 4th place. That's what we want to do. Flying over to Schreiber. Schreiber forward for Kutsu, and here he comes. And there's the goal. Second goal for Ahmed Kutsu here in the second half. Kutsu, when he gets his consistency on, is able to score well. It's just the lack of consistency that hurts him some matches. So I'm not sure what to do with him, if he should come in off the bench or exactly what. I feel bad about not starting him, right? So we do want to start him, definitely. And for whatever reason, just sometimes he ends up having one of those really quiet matches. So Kutsu ends up putting us up 3-1. Rausch wins this in the back, flying to Brouwer. Brouwer down to nobody, and his fade issue ends up winning that. What was that by Brouwer? That was a little bit strange. Let's see if we can get this ball back off of them somehow. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in this coming transfer window because, like I said, we have no money and we have no scouts, and we barely have an idea of who's good in this league. Here's Kutsu once again. Is it going to be a hat trick? No. It is denied. Brouwer now with it, and Kutsu hasn't given up on this play, but it ends up being knocked away again. Boy, wouldn't that have been something if he had had a hat trick there, and we're only in the 76th minute. So it was very, very close for Kutsu. We unfortunately don't see the replay because the replay system is bugged here. We know about that. Let's see if we can get this ball off of them again and if we can make something happen. We want to see at least a little bit of magic, a little bit of good times. Özkul ends up heading this away. Apostolo wins it, and he looks forward for Schreiber, and here we go again. Schreiber is fouled. No, he's not. No call on that foul. They say it was a perfect tackle. I was hoping that they'd have another one sent off there. Brouwer wins this and then loses it right away. Saber wins it back twice over to Kutsu, who I think is onside. It looks like he is. He takes the shot. He had 2 men right in front of him. Saber had an excellent, excellent play there. Keep that alive. Let's take another look at it and see if we can figure out what he did. He headed it, I suppose, and then he kicked it forward. And this was very, very close, but ends up not really turning into anything, unfortunately for us. But that's much better than them attacking us. So we have a couple of minutes here left in this match. It looks like we likely will come away with the victory, and that will give us 6th place. And Siementhausen seems to have lost. But Sonthofen have won, and with this victory, that means that we have no chance at playoff or at promotion, unfortunately. But it's all right. We have our eyes on next season when we have some of these good young players. Schreiber forward for Kutsu. Kutsu over to Flaig to Brouwer, looking again for Kutsu. And Brouwer will just take the goal, but it doesn't matter. They're calling him offside. I'm not sure about that. You can go rewind and see if he actually was offside or not. It looked like it was clean to me. So look at this again. There's Kutsu. There's Brouwer down below. And I think he was onside, but it looks like perhaps he was offside. It was close enough for the official to make a different decision. About 2 minutes of injury time. I'm looking and seeing that Königsbrunn have come back a goal, so now they're only down by 1, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late. Meanwhile, we end up with the 3-1 victory, so we're very happy about that, but it looks like we're not going to end up in a potential promotion position. Kutsu, though, is definitely our man of the match, no matter what. So we'll go ahead and take a look over here and see what's happened. He has 2 goals, 8.8 rating. Bauer had a 7.8. That's the key player here. We end up with 57% of the possession once again, and that puts us up to 6th place, and we have 3 matches left. So as I mentioned before, we'll have 3 matches for you tomorrow, so make sure that you come show up for that, and should have another long form video for you tomorrow as well. And hopefully, if the time works right for me, we can play a little bit of video game or something today. So we'll see what happens. I'll talk with you later. Bye.